Hi! So I have to sit on the floor because it's a really rainy day today and the weather is kind of crap and it's a bit dark, so I have to get as much light as I can from the window. My channel is not necessarily like a food channel or a vegan channel or a lifestyle channel or anything like that. It's mainly based around travel and tourism, especially while I'm here in Japan, obviously. So I'm always down to make anything that's going to make people's lives a bit easier. But if you're not vegan, if you're not interested in this kind of thing, then just wait till the next one. But if you're interested, let's get into it. So the first thing I've got to say is that everything that I am going to say thus forth in this video is based around my experience living in Tokyo for the past 4 months. Before I lived in Tokyo, I lived in Osaka. I lived there for 4 years. So this is just my experiences based on me living in Tokyo. That's enough disclaimers. Let's get into the actual video. So the short answer, if you asked me, is it hard to be vegan while living in Japan? I would say it's easier than you think. And also, it's harder than you think. So, let's start with the harder points. As you might already have heard or expect, Japan is a land of fish, not a land of fish. Land and fish. Fish is a big part of the Japanese diet. So there's lots of foods that contain fish, and not only that, they use fish extract in like stocks, which they would use in soups and sauces as well. So there's a thing called katsuo dashi. It's basically bonito, and that is a kind of fish, and they use that in so many different sauces and soups, which is kind of a bummer because there's like so many things that you would expect to be vegan, but they're actually not because it's got katsuo in it. Another reason is if you go to a non-vegan restaurant, so for example, if you go to an izakaya, which is just a general standard Japanese restaurant, it's got a million different options. You might be like, oh sweet, I'll just get a salad, and then the salad comes with Parmesan cheese on it, or it comes with bonito flakes, like just sprinkled on top. It's a little warming gift for you. So if you're traveling Japan and you don't speak any Japanese at all, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to explain to a waiter or a waitress what it is that you're after. But if you wait until the end of the video, I've got some tips on how you can overcome this barrier, so stick around to the end. But as another point, even if you do speak great Japanese, a lot of Japanese people don't really know what the word vegan is. Vegetarian is a regular word, people know what that word means, but sometimes even people think that vegetarians still eat fish, which is not true from the Western perspective. So if you say to someone, I'm vegan, they'll be like, what's that? And still a lot of people then may not properly understand you or understand why you've chosen to do that, just because it hasn't quite caught on. Whoa. There's definitely some people that have understood me when I've said that, but yeah, most of the time a lot of people don't quite understand it yet. But you know, let's be optimistic. That's the word I'm looking for. Speaking of optimism, let's get on to the easier points. Being vegan in Japan is easier than you might expect because there are actually quite a number of Japanese dishes, usually side dishes, that you can get at most Japanese restaurants. Things like edamame, tofu, rice. You can usually get like some kind of French fries at some place, and they've usually got some kind of house salad or standard salad. It depends which restaurant you go to, obviously. Even if you go to like a Japanese restaurant, most places will have something like tofu, edamame, rice, and maybe some like pickled vegetables or something like that, which, you know, it's actually, you can like, you know, conjure up some kind of fairly bland meal. But I mean, if you're just visiting Japan for a little bit, so there are some emergency options if you're in a restaurant and you find that it's not a vegan restaurant or whatever, you're eating with friends and you don't want to be a nuisance to them, there are definitely things that you can eat when you go out to places like that. So the main reason that I love living in Japan is that everything is so convenient. There's convenient shops everywhere that you go. Every single corner you turn, there will be a convenience shop right there. I just realized I am off center for this entire thing. I hope that I've got something to put in this space to make up for the fact that I'm not in the center. Yes. So basically any street that you go to, there's gonna be a convenience store there, and in most convenience stores, if not all of them, they will usually have like some kind of plain salad and a thing of tofu. You can sometimes even get like little triangles of edamame, you can get plain rice, you can get little nigiri triangles. Sometimes it's hard to know what's inside them, but just wait till the end, okay? Just wait for my tips. I'll make it a bit easier for you. If you're living in Japan, and especially if you're living in Tokyo, grocery shopping can be pretty good. There's like quite a lot of vegan options. There's like lots of vegetables. The Japanese diet is fairly healthy. They generally contain lots of vegetable dishes and things using beans and tofu and everything like that. So therefore at the grocery stores, you can find most of these ingredients relatively easy and they're all quite cheap. So there's like a million varieties of tofu. Vegetables are actually quite cheap, depending on what you get, but vegetables are usually quite cheap. And yeah, I find grocery shopping to be fairly easy in Japan, which is great. Also, I live in Tokyo, so that means there is a lot more options becoming available these days. So when I lived in Osaka, I lived there 6 years ago. It got to like the end of my 4 years that I was there. And I remember someone said, "Oh my God, Hannah, they have almond milk in the grocery store." And I was like, "What? Where?" And there was like a tiny, tiny little like container of almond milk. Like all of my friends, we just like bought out that aisle like every single day that it was restocked because we could finally buy almond milk in Japan. But nowadays, if I just like pop to the shop that's like the grocery store down the road, I can buy like a giant thing of almond milk and it only cost me like 300 yen, which is not bad. I mean, it's not like crazy cheap, but yeah, that's pretty cheap actually for Japan. Possibly because as I think tourism is on the rise, especially with the Olympics coming up, I feel like things are only going to get easier and easier to find vegan options. Usually when I'm walking around, I'll spot like some kind of random restaurant. It's got like some kind of vegan burger or like, you know, some other kind of like vegan options. Did I just say vegan? Whoa. Now onto some tips. So if you're going to a restaurant or into a grocery store, anything like that, and you want to know if something contains something, you don't know how to ask it in Japanese, you don't speak any Japanese, you can get these little cards, which I'm going to link in the description down below, and they're really, really helpful. I haven't personally used them because I can generally get across what I need to say in Japanese, but a lot of my friends that are vegan, they use them in restaurants and they said they haven't had any issues with it. Japanese people are very friendly and they're very accommodating and they're just very welcoming, so just hand it to them with a smile and say, "Hai, onegai shimasu," and then you'll get like extra brownie points and then it'll be good. Another tip is, maybe you've heard about this, maybe you haven't, Google Translate. Google Translate now has a new feature where it's got a live translating app, which is like, it's actually incredible. It blows my mind how well it works also, and just like the fact that it actually works. Like woo! I love the internet so much. And ready for the smoothest side note segue ever. Well, that's not smooth anymore. To use this Google Translate app, you'll need to have internet, and to have internet, you will probably need to have a pocket Wi-Fi. This is from iVideo. iVideo makes pocket Wi-Fis. So this one is unlimited data. It comes at a really affordable price. You can connect up to 10 devices on it, and they're available in so many countries around the world. In order to get the most out of your experience, Wi-Fi is a must, so please go and check it out. You can use my promo code. I'm gonna put it here apparently. You can use my promo code and you can get 10% off a pocket Wi-Fi. So go and check it out, links are in the description. And yes, on to the next point. And of course, if you've been a vegan/vegetarian for a while, then I'm sure you know about the website called Happy Cow. Happy Cow is a wonderful website and lists all vegan restaurants and vegetarian restaurants. And yeah, it's pretty wonderful. And my final tip, if you are living in Japan, so if you're planning to stay here for a while, and if you don't mind, I mean, if you're planning to stay here for a while, you should probably learn some Japanese anyway. Please try and learn these kanji, katakana, hiragana words that I've listed on the screen next to me. Yes. These are not limited to these because they sometimes spell them differently or something like that, which makes things a bit harder sometimes. These are the things that you need to look out for when you're reading a label. Now, when I read a label, I don't always understand exactly what everything is, but I'll be able to look at a word and see if it has come from an animal or if it hasn't based on the kanji that is in the word, which is super, super helpful, and it means I don't have to get out my translating app every time, and it just makes my life so much easier and it makes me less frustrated. So the more you know, the easier your life will be, trust me. And yeah, basically all I would say is no one is perfect. When you're in Japan, it's gonna be a lot harder than it's gonna be back at home, but the best that you can do is the best that you can do. So as long as you're trying your best, don't beat yourself up if you eat something that is accidentally non-vegan, or if you go out traveling into the middle of Japan and there are absolutely no options except for, you know, some kind of ramen that has a fish stock in it. Like, just like, don't kill yourself over it, and don't like starve yourself, because it'll probably just make you more frustrated with the country, or it'll taint your experience of what could be an incredible time in this country. It is a beautiful country, and you know, these things take time to like catch on eventually. It's not always going to be easy, definitely not, especially if you're traveling into rural areas. In Tokyo though, it's going to be a lot easier than you think though. I really, really think so. And especially with tourism on the rise as well, it's only going to get easier and easier, hopefully. So basically, don't beat yourself up if you can't. There's definitely been times that I have eaten something that is not vegan and I haven't realized until afterwards, or I've gone out into the middle of nowhere and I've thought, hey, you know what? I think I may need to eat something that has fish in it because there's no other options. That is life sometimes, and don't let it taint your experience here, because it's a wonderful country and I'd love for you to come and experience it. Apart from that, yesterday, my best friend and I, Jess, we went to a vegan sushi art cooking class, and it was so much fun, and I've just started the edit today, and it's gonna be a good one. I'm like, it just makes me happy thinking about it, because it's just such a fun video to make. I also am going to be making vegan grocery shopping in Japan, and then perhaps eventually, when I've eaten at enough restaurants, my top vegan restaurants in Japan, in Tokyo at least. If there's any other kind of video suggestions, if you're a vegan, vegetarian, if you wanna, I don't know, even if you're not, anything that you're interested about Japan, living in Japan, leave it in the comments below and I will have a look. Yes, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, you can subscribe. If you didn't like the video and you came here to leave hate on a vegan's page, please go ahead and leave it in the comments, because it just boosts the popularity of the video, makes YouTube recommend it more, and then I get more money. So go ahead and do that. That'd be great. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!